Hey y'all, it's Amanda and this is my Texas Zone 8 garden, and before we dive in, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share this on your Facebook page. Okay, I am out on the front porch today, and can we just talk about how beautiful everything looks after the strawberry front porch redo? If you missed that, I will drop the link to the work I did on the front porch. I'll drop that in the video description below. But I'm on the last day of a 3-day heat wave that we're having. Yesterday was supposed to be the hottest. It was supposed to be 100 degrees. It got to 95. So I am grateful it didn't get up to 100 degrees, but 95 was still stinking hot. But during that time, what I did is I really researched the seeds that I'm wanting to sow this summer for fall colors. So I really want to share what I'm looking at purchasing with you all. Now, I want to focus, I'm going to be purchasing from Swallowtail Garden Seeds. That is my favorite seed company. I am not paid, endorsed. I don't receive anything from them. I literally just really like them, and that's why I use them. So my opinion is not swayed at all from them. They're a great company. I've been purchasing from years. I have really great germination rates. I think they have a great selection, and I really enjoy getting from them. So what I want to do is I'm really looking at the seeds that I'm going to start in June. I want to start all these seeds in June so that come September, into August and September, I have all the beautiful fall color and fall plants that I want for my fall garden. And I'm doing this to save money more than anything else. Okay, so why start in summer for fall color? Warm season plants thrive in late summer and bloom beautifully into the fall. And I like to grow my plants on long enough that they look like I just picked them up from a nursery, right? I love to have a big, beautiful full plant to go plant out in my garden. So starting earlier helps me achieve that. It also gives plants time to mature before the first frost, and I want to allow these plants to reach their full maximum impact during the fall before we start getting cold winter weather in December. And I do have a very long growing season in the fall that most people don't typically have. My season's really set up. I have a nice spring growing season, but now May into June, we're getting to the end of my growing season and we go to summer, and summer is just hot and things don't grow during the summer. And then we restart again in the fall. So I technically have 2 growing seasons. It's also perfect for regions like Zone 8 that have these longer growing seasons or multiple growing seasons. This is a great opportunity to really get some really good impact in your fall garden. I know a lot of y'all in cooler zones don't put a lot of money into your fall garden or a lot of time into your fall garden, which is understandable because you guys get earlier frosts than we do. And my first average frost is usually about mid-November, but in actuality, we really don't get any until December. And here's the deal about starting a lot of these seeds. Fall planting, fall gardens don't just have to be about mums and pumpkins, right? They can be more than mums and pumpkins. And I think that because that's what we see out in our nurseries, we feel like that's what we have to plant for fall. And in reality, growing a bunch of this stuff from seed is going to add a lot of vibrant texture to my fall garden, which I love. It's going to add a lot of foliage because I do a lot of focus on foliage, not necessarily flowers, and blooms to extend the show into October and November, which is a beautiful time of year here in Texas. And I really enjoy growing during that time. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk through the seeds I'm going to be purchasing from Swallowtail Seeds specifically to grow on for my fall garden and fall containers. These are all going to be annual seeds. I am going to do a video in a few days of the perennials I'm going to be purchasing. The perennials won't necessarily be fall focused. That's why I did not want to include them in this. But all the seeds I'm talking about today are going to be about fall color and the fall garden. Okay, so first on my list is Burning Embers Slosia. And it is stunningly beautiful. It's a unique bicolor plumes of deep red and magenta atop a kind of bronzy green foliage. It screams fall. Absolutely beautiful and a big punch of color. It's only about 8 to 10 inches tall, so it's going to be perfect for like front borders. I think it'll look really nice, or tucked in containers. It's grown as an annual. It's about 90 to 100 days to maturity, and you will hear me talking about maturity quite frequently because 90 to 100 days means I need to start it in June so that it's mature in September when I can plant it out. That's why we're planting this far ahead. It loves the heat. It loves full sun. You can deadhead it to prolong the blooming season for it. And it's perfect for autumn beds or dried floral arrangements. Celosia is great. And I am hoping to grow it on far enough that I can harvest seeds from it, and then I'll go ahead and already have the seeds for next year instead of having to buy more. Okay, next you're going to see a whole bunch of coleus, because coleus is something I love for fall. I love it in these containers. I love it out in my garden beds. I love to harvest it for floral arrangements. I love coleus for fall. It's a little bit different because the focus is on the foliage, not on the blooms. So here's the first of many coleus. The first one is Sun Coral Candy Coleus. It is a feathered shaped leaves with hot coral pink centers, dark russet accents, and serrated bright green leaves. And I love that description so much. It's only about 14 to 18 inches tall, which makes it ideal for something like the front of borders or containers. It is an annual and it's extremely heat tolerant. Its maturity day is about 60 to 70 days, so I can wait till the end of June to get this one started. Full sun to part shade, and I grow a lot of coleus in full sun here in the North Texas area because it's set up to drip, and I have found that if it is well watered, it does fine. If yours is not set up to drip irrigation, then I highly suggest planting it in part shade. You need to pinch it to encourage bushiness, which we will be doing after these seedlings grow on a little bit. And it is brilliant paired with mums or other dark foliage. It looks absolutely gorgeous with it. Next on my coleus list is Sun Chocolate Covered Cherry Coleus, and it is a deep burgundy leaves with a rose center and borders of thin green along the margins of the leaves. Absolutely beautiful. It is 12 to 18 inches tall, which once again makes it ideal for front borders or tucked in containers. It is an annual, and its maturity rate is 60 to 70 days. All the coleus are going to be about that. It likes full sun to part shade and great in containers, which I'm looking forward to that. I would like to incorporate a lot of this coleus into my shade garden as well. And it is excellent drama for the front porch or garden bed. So back here on this porch is much shaded, and I like to have some bright color back in here so that you can see it from the street, as you can tell by the pinks and reds. But these bold shocks of color with the coleus works really great as well. Coleus love my front porch. They do brilliant in the front porch. Next on my list is Sun Dark Chocolate Coleus, and this is a very deep, rich mahogany brown, nearly black, velvety foliage. Absolutely stunning, nothing like it. I like it to incorporate it into containers because it creates a nice dark contrasting backdrop for brightly colored blooms. It's about 24 to 30 inches tall and 18 to 24 inches wide. It is a huge, huge plant. It's not something I would plant on the very front of my borders, but maybe the next layer back I think would look really, really nice. It is an annual, and it also is 60 to 70 days to maturity. It loves heat, and the color deepens in full sun, so it gets a nice darker brown into black. And it also blooms late, so the plant remains showy for months. And coleus do produce blooms. Their blooms aren't anything significant or interesting. We mainly grow them for foliage, but this blooms a lot later in the season, which is going to keep the plant nice and bushier for longer. And it gives that moody fall vibe, perfect as a contrast plant like we were just discussing. Okay, next on my list is Fairway Orange Coleus, and it is an apricot orange veined in magenta and wrapped with chartreuse. There's lots of beautiful, gorgeous color. And I've grown something a little bit similar, although this one is a smaller variety. This one is only about 8 to 10 inches tall. It is a dwarf variety of coleus, excellent for containers or the very front edge of borders. It is 60 to 70 days to maturity as well. It's great in small containers or border fronts, and it's bright enough to rival fall leaves, which is an excellent description. And I really love bunches of oranges and corals in my fall garden. I absolutely love it. And I feel like when I go shopping at nurseries at that time of the year when I'm wanting to plant up a bunch of my fall containers and stuff, they don't have as much orange with the exception of mums. And I don't want mums everywhere. So this is a great alternative. Now the next variety is Fairway Mosaic Coleus, which features dramatic foliage with unique patterns in shades of green, red, cream, and pink. And you can see that I'm really starting to contrast a lot of these colors. I really want the colors to play off of each other and pop against each other. This one is also a dwarf variety at only 8 to 10 inches tall. It's an annual and its maturity days are 60 to 70 days. You need to keep it evenly watered to have success with coleus. It is a compact size, is perfect for edging the front of a border, and it adds interest without stealing the show, because I definitely will have some showstopper blooms and foliage, and so this one is more of an accent approach. Okay, moving out of coleus into some other varieties, we're looking at brunette cosmidium, which I've never grown this before. This will be the first time. It has mahogany red petals edged in gold, daisy-like blooms, and has an airy fern-like foliage. It's about 18 to 24 inches tall. It is considered a hardy annual, meaning I most likely can plant it this fall and then it will overwinter outside and give me some spring blooms, which is very exciting and fun. It's about 70 to 80 days to maturity. It prefers full sun. It has abundant blooms, tons and tons of blooms. You can keep deadheading it to keep blooms coming, and it typically blooms June through October, which is great. And I think that's something I'll touch on in just a second. It is a warm-toned wildflower feel, pairs beautifully with grasses, and we are going to be growing some grasses. But I do want to touch on a lot of the seeds I'm selecting grow well at the time of the year that I need them to grow. I'm not choosing seeds that typically bloom in April and May. It makes no sense for me to start those during the summer and hope that they'll bloom in the fall. So you definitely want to be conscious of that when you're selecting your seeds. Next on my list is strawberry blonde marigolds, which, I mean, strawberry blonde, that's just such a fun name. They are double blooms that start blooming a warm russet red shade. Then they change to apricot and yellow as they age and finally mature to a rosy peach shade. All of those colors in one plant. So exciting. They're about 8 to 10 inches tall. They are considered an annual, and their maturity rate is 60 to 70 days. They prefer full sun, tolerant of poor soils, and they are considered very well branching plants if you pinch them earlier on. They're a romantic twist on a fall classic. And marigolds are really my replacement for mums. Mums, they just kind of bloom and then they're done. They don't last as long as I would really like them. And marigolds are a way to kind of keep color going in my garden during the fall. Excellent replacement for mums. Next is another marigold. This is called Inca 2 Primrose Marigold. It is fully double, vibrant pastel yellow shade and very fluffy ball-like marigolds. It's about 12 to 14 inches tall. It is an annual. It's 70 to 80 days to maturity. It's very heat tolerant, and planted in mass, it has massive impact, which will be really exciting. It's bright and cheerful into the late fall. Now I will say marigolds can quite frequently suffer from spider mites in my area, so when I plant these marigolds, I will be treating them immediately to make sure I can battle those spider mites pretty earlier on. And that just tends to happen in like a dry environment. Spider mites love dry environments and are very prolific. Next on my list is purple majesty millet. Now I grew this last year and I harvested a bunch of the seeds, so I have a bunch, but I also am ordering one more pack of seeds to make sure I definitely did well and that I'll have them, because they are key to my fall garden. They are purple corn-like stalks, and the leaves, the purple corn-like stalks and leaves topped with 12-inch long purple plumes dusted in pollen. They're beautiful. They scream fall. They're absolutely beautiful. They're about 4 to 5 feet tall. They are considered an annual but reseed in warm climates. So where I planted them last year, I'll have to keep an eye out. Maybe they reseeded themselves, which would be great. They are 100 to 110 days to maturity, which is also, once again, why I need to go ahead and get these ordered so that I can get them started in June. They are heat lovers. You need to space them well to avoid crowding. They are architectural, dramatic, and look incredible with Rudbecia, and they look great in these kind of containers and also out in my garden beds. Okay, next on my list is Chimney Rudbecia. It is a quirky quilled petals in shades of bronze, rust, and gold. Absolutely gorgeous, and I love having Rudbecia for the fall. They are 24 to 30 inches tall plants. They are hardy annuals to short-lived perennials, and I definitely think Rudbecia will give me a couple of years and then they die off. I'm not growing these necessarily as a perennial, I'm growing these as an annual, but I really like the unusual colors. I thought these would be beautiful and lots of interesting textures. About 80 to 100 days to maturity. They prefer full sun and tolerate drought-like conditions. They look like little fireworks exploding in your fall bed. So I'm really excited to see those and get those going. Typically, I see Rudbecia in my local nurseries, but those plants are typically like $24 for a gallon plant. I don't want to pay $24 for one plant. So by starting them myself, that's extremely exciting. Okay, and then last on my list for seeds from Swallowtail is going to be Tidy Tips. And it is a member of the sunflower family, bright yellow daisy flowers with white tipped petals. Only about 12 to 18 inches tall. It is a hardy annual. Once again, that's something you can plant in the fall. It will overwinter outside and then it will bloom in the spring. It's about 60 to 70 days to maturity. Considered drought tolerant and great for pollinators. And it's a classic wildflower charm, perfect with ornamental grasses. So if you can imagine that tiny tips with the millet, that would be awesome. So now I'm just going to take a few minutes to show you some combinations of the plants together, just so you can see how well all the colors and textures work. Okay, so very exciting. So let's talk about how and when to start these for the fall. So we're going to start seeds in mid to late summer, typically June and July in zone 8. Then we're going to harden off and transplant them out in August for fall performance. So typically what I'll do, if I'm not going to plant them directly in the garden or I'm not going to plant them directly into my containers, I'll go ahead and pot them up into larger containers, get those outside in the full sun, and get them going that way so that they can grow on and be big, beautiful plants when it's time for me to plant them. We're going to focus on fast-growing, heat-loving varieties. We don't want varieties that are 150, 180 days to come to maturity. That's too long. A lot of that coleus was only 60 days, so we love that. Something that's going to grow really, really fast and is also going to love the heat at that time of the year, because in September, I'm still receiving triple-digit temperatures. I'm still getting really hot weather. And then finally, we're going to keep beds well watered as they become established. It will be a little difficult in the beginning. I will have to stay really on top of it when they move outside. But if I keep pushing through the end of September, the temperatures will finally crack. They'll start coming down, and these plants will come to fruition and be beautiful October and November. Okay, a few thoughts on fall color planning tips, because obviously I'm starting to plan what my fall garden is going to look like and the colors and textures I'm going to see. We want to mix dark foliage with bright blooms for drama. So you see a lot of that contrasting between things like the purple majesty millet and the tidy tips. Extreme contrast so that they really pop off of each other. We want to use coleus as a living mulch around marigolds and Rudbecia. That shorter varieties of coleus can be planted around the marigolds and Rudbecia. It creates a living mulch, which also helps retain retain moisture and helps regulate temperatures during the hot times of the year. And then we're going to combine airy textures with airy textures like the cosmidium with bold millet for contrast. And lots of movement, lots of contrast, lots of texture. That is the goal for my fall gardens. So I am placing this order. It's less than $75 for all of these seeds. And so theoretically, along with a couple of bags of, soil, we're probably looking at $100 to $120 for all of my fall planting, which, as I was saying, if I was going to go to the nursery, a quart plant is $7.99 for one plant. The gallons are $19.99 to $24.99. They get real pricey real quick. So feeling really good about this approach. Plus, I just really enjoy growing things from seed. Like, I enjoyed the process. And when it's really hot outside during the summer, it's going to be really nice to have some gardening projects inside. All right, you all, let me know your thoughts on starting this summer for fall color, starting summer seeds for fall color and saving some money. Let me know if you're going to follow along with me, if there's any particular plants you're wanting to grow from seed, or if you have any thoughts on the ones that I have chosen. As always, make sure you like and comment on the video. Every time you like and comment, it helps grow the video so much. And if you don't feel comfortable leaving a comment, just drop me an emoji below, letting me know that you made it to the end of the video and you say hi. And be sure to check out my Patreon community. The link is in the video description below. It is all things gardening and all things She's a Mad Gardener. It's a really great little community. It's really fun. That's typically where I post a lot about what's going on in my life, like if I'm going to miss some videos or if I've got other things going on. I post a lot of questions and ask questions about my garden, and then I'll show where sales are. There's a lot going on. There is a free level that you can join in, and then there are additional paid tiers. The higher up you are in the tiers, the more access you get, including exclusive videos, as well as group chats and sharing photos. As always, she's a mad gardener or decorator or anything else that she wants to be. Thanks, y'all.